You should be good to go, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Good evening and welcome to the Monday, March 21st Committee of Adjustment meeting. Can I have someone move to call the meeting to order? Moved by Deputy Mayor Jaworski, seconded by Councillor McDonnell. All those in favor? Meeting is called to order. Thank you. Are there any additions or deletions or amendments to the agenda?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, perfect. Seeing none. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, March 7th. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Lang, second by Councillor McDonnell to approve the minutes as presented. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest? I will disclose A0722 Catna Fraser. I was their real estate agent for the purchase of that property. So I will ask Deputy Mayor Jaworski to take the reins on that file. So there's, will that be okay? Okay, great. Thank you. Moving on to new business, A06-2022. Byam LeBlanc. Ms. Haley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. So good evening, everyone. My name is Joanne Haley, and welcome. For the members of the public that are participating by Zoom or by phone, you will be permitted to speak to the respective application following my presentation. Prior to speaking, please state your name and address for the record. If you wish to make a comment, please use the raise hand function and the chair will call on you. And if you have registered to participate in the meeting by phone, you will be asked if you would like to comment on the application after the presentation. I'm now going to read a required wording under the Ontario Planning Act. This is a hearing under Section 44 of the Ontario Planning Act. Any person may attend this hearing and/or make written or verbal representation, either in support of or in opposition to the proposed minor variance. If a person or public body does not make oral or written submissions at this hearing before the minor variance is decided upon, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to the Ontario Land Tribunal, also known as OLT. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a hearing or make written submissions to the Committee of Adjustment or the Township of South Glengarry before the minor variance is decided upon, the person or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the OLT unless, in the opinion of the tribunal, there are reasonable grounds to do so. So we have two applications this evening, and I'll be starting off with application A0622. This property is located at part of Lot 38, Concession 3, in the geographic township of Lancaster, now in South Glengarry, and is located at 5639 County Road 34. This is a key map of the subject property. County Road 34 runs north-south, and this property is north of Lancaster. Here's an aerial view of the property. You can see that the dwelling is in the middle, and there's primarily farmland around the subject property. The purpose of the minor variance is the applicant proposes to create a hobby farm on an existing developed property and is requesting permission to have an agricultural use on an existing lot that is 4.24 hectares in size, where typically the bylaw requires 20 hectares as a minimum lot area for an agricultural use. 4.24 hectares equates to 10.47 acres. This is an image of the property that was taken on March 11th, and this would be from County Road 34. And then these are two other images that were taken also just at a greater distance, and this one's more angled to the northeast. The property is designated agricultural resource in the county official plan, and it does conform to the general intent of the OP. And the property is zoned agricultural and does conform to the general intent of the zoning bylaw. This application was circulated to applicable municipal staff, and we have no concerns with the application given the size of the property. The application was also circulated to the United Counties. They responded by email by saying they have no comments. And to date, I have not received any comments or inquiries from the public. I do know that the applicant is participating this evening, and they would be able to provide you more information as to what type of animals they want to have, kind of the more specifics about the property if the committee has any questions. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Haley, for your presentation. Are there any questions or comments of the committee? Seeing none, I'm going to go to see who we have here attending. And I see both Maxine and Pierre-Luc, excuse me, are on the meeting. Did either one of you want to speak to the application? Raise your hand and I'll permit you to speak. Pierre-Luc, go ahead, unmute yourself and state your name and address for the record, sir, please.
Yes, absolutely. My name is Pierre-Luc Bayam. My address is 5639 County Road 34, Lancaster, Ontario, K0C1NO. So basically, what Mrs. Joanne Handley has presented is correct. So basically, we bought this property in 2016, which has 10.47 acre. About 8 acres of the property is for agricultural use, and we would like to have a small hobby farm with horses on the property, so that we can have a very small breeding program where we'd be selling 1 to 2 foals a year and having a maximum of 5 to 6 horses on the property.
Okay, great. Are there any other further questions of the committee? Councillor Lang.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you. Thank you, Pierre-Luc, for your comments. And have you guys given any thought to what you're going to do with for, like, if you're having 5 to 6 horses, what you're going to do with for manure removal? Is it going to be stored on the property? Is it going to be given to a farmer next door, this sort of thing?
I would say probably store on the property in terms of short-term plan, and then we would use it as probably fertilizer for our own gardens and for our own personal network.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions or comments? Councillor McDonnell.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'd move to approve as presented.
Okay, is there a seconder? Okay, Councillor or Deputy Mayor Jaworski. All those in favor to approve as presented? Okay, thank you very much. Motion is carried. So I will now recuse myself while we deal with the next application. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do I have to formally hand it back to you, Ms. Haley, for A0722?
Thank you. So moving on, we'll do with A0722. This property is located at part of Lot 5, Concession 1, south side of the Raisin River in the geographic township of Charlottenburg, now in South Glengarry, and it is addressed as 19588 Heron Road. So the area identified in black is where the property is located. You'll see that it's on the south side of Heron, also on the south side of the Raisin River, and almost at the west end of the village boundary of Williamstown. The yellow line on this image identifies the settlement boundary of the settlement area of Williamstown. So these are photos that were taken of the property on March 11th. You can see there's an existing dwelling as well as an existing detached garage. So the applicant is proposing to demolish the existing detached garage and to construct a new garage that is 249 square meters in gross floor area. They're also looking to have permission to operate a cabinet making home occupation within the detached garage. And this triggers 2 minor variance requests. One being to increase the proposed residential garage gross floor area from 100 square meters to 249 square meters, as well as to seek permission to operate the home occupation within an accessory building. And that's simply because based on the current policies in the zoning bylaw, you are required to operate a home occupation within a residential zone entirely within the dwelling and not within an accessory structure. So that's what triggers this request. This is an image that was provided to us from the applicant. The top portion is what the garage will look like from the road. So you'll see one garage door and then a front facade. And then this bottom portion is the east elevation. So you'll see additional garage doors on the east side, which really wouldn't be visible from the road or even from the neighbors, as it would be more in the rear yard. So as I mentioned previously, the property is located in the rural settlement area of Williamstown. It's also designated rural settlement area. It does conform to the general intent of the official plan, and the property is zoned residential 1, and it does conform to the general intent of the zoning bylaw. The application was circulated to applicable municipal staff, and building and planning have no concerns with the application. We know that it can meet the setbacks. We know it will not negatively impact the location of the septic system and the well. And to date, I've not received any comments or inquiries from the public. Again, the applicants are participating in the meeting this evening, and they would be able to answer any questions specifically about the building, the size, things like that. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Haley. So are there any questions of members of the committee before I ask if the applicant would like to say anything? Councillor Lang.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. Not really a question. I drove by and looked at the property, and it looks like it would be an improvement to the shed that's there. And I think it's great that we have somebody wanting to start up a home business in Williamstown. So as long as we can make this work for them, I think it's a great idea.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Lang. So not seeing any other requests to make questions or ask questions or make comments from members of the committee, I'll offer the opportunity to the applicant. I see Ms. Catnaugh is with us. If you'd like to speak, Ms. Catnaugh, you can, you raise your hand? I haven't actually had to do this over Zoom yet. So if you wanted to indicate, raise your hand, then we can give you an opportunity to speak. So if you, once you're unmuted, if you can state your name and your address, please. And I think you can unmute yourself. Great, perfect, thanks.
Good evening, it's Maggie Catnaugh, and I have Dean Fraser here with me, and we are in Williamstown, and we just want to say thank you. I agree with Councillor Lang that it will create a vast improvement on our property. Oh, Dean's saying I have to say our address, 19588 Heron Road in Williamstown. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I don't know if any of the other, well, thank you, Ms. Catnaugh, Mr. Fraser. I'm going to see if any other attendees have questions. I don't see any hands going up. Councillor McDonnell?
Seeing no other comments from members of the public, I agree with Councillor Lang as well. I think it'd be a great addition to the property or a large improvement. So given that, I'll move to approve as presented.
Okay, is there a seconder? Okay, seconded by Councillor Lang. All in favor to approve as presented? Okay, so carried. Well, thank you very much. Now, I think Mayor Warden has returned, and I'll pass the baton back to him.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for handling that, Deputy Mayor Jaworski. Ms. Haley, are there any other, for our next meeting, are there any other applications in on your desk yet?
I don't have any at this time, Mr. Chair. However, you will recall that we have a deferred application from earlier this year. I will be working with the applicant to return that application back to the committee as soon as possible. So I'll be in touch if we're moving forward with that application.
Okay, motion to adjourn at 6:45 p.m. Moved by Councillor McDonnell, second by